So hi, hello and welcome again, and today I want to give you an example of a very bad test taking strategy, something that I've done when I was much younger. When I was a freshman at university, I really messed up one exam even though I knew everything, or I thought I knew everything, but it was ultimately an example of very bad test taking, and I'm just going to tell you now what happened so that the same thing does not happen to you. It was a chemistry test. It was a so-called knockout examination. So this means that a lot of people failed the exam because only the best students, or those that passed, they could actually proceed into the next semester to take part in the chemistry lab course where we had limited spaces. So it was a very tough, a very difficult exam, and I studied a lot and I knew pretty much everything. But there was a problem. The problem was that the exam itself was just as expected, but the problem was because I was so excited and I knew so much that I have to get a good result on the test that I really attempted to answer every single question. And the overall test lasted 1 hour and 30 minutes, 1.5 hours, and I made a mistake. I spent half of the time, 45 minutes, on one single question, which wasn't even worth a lot of points. So what happened? We got the exam, I started to work on it, and I knew of the 22 questions, I knew 21 of them without problems. I rushed through the exam, I answered all of them, and there was this one equation that I had to solve. It was a so-called a redox equation. You don't have to know that if you're not into chemistry so much, but this one redox equation was a really tough one. It was a tough one. And after 45 minutes, I actually managed to solve that equation, and I got my points for that. And I got the final result, and the final result was I barely passed the exam. So I was very upset, was kind of surprised by that. So I basically talked to the professor, and he showed me the exam, and I went through it, and I could not believe what I saw. Of the 22 questions, I got the redox equation correct for sure. But there were so many sloppy mistakes that I made, it was unbelievable. I did not read the questions properly. I knew the answer but put down the wrong answer even, and it was totally avoidable. Even though I knew the answer, I was looking at this and said, why in the world did I put down exactly the opposite? So this was really a surprise to me, and then I kind of reconsidered it a little bit and went into myself and said, what in the world went wrong here? And I discovered that ultimately I basically rushed through 21 of these questions. I did not read the questions properly, and I thought I knew everything. Because I knew everything, I quickly wrote down the answer. I did not even formulate the answer properly. I just wrote it down because I knew it, and then I spent way too much time on this one single redox equation, so that I did not have enough time to actually double check all of my questions, all of my answers to the questions. So that's essentially the problem that I had. And at the same time, I also met another student there who got a very good result, and I wondered, now what about the redox equation? Did you solve the redox equation? I mean, you got a pretty good result. And then she told me, no, it was too difficult, I skipped it altogether. And I was so upset because of that. I mean, because I got that equation correct, but still got a very bad result because I made mistakes all over the place. So what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is have some kind of a test-taking strategy. Take your time, pace yourself, and also make sure that you allocate the time based on the number of points. There is it's pointless, no pun intended, it's pointless to allocate too much time to a question that only gives you very few points, right? It's much better to invest in the time in those questions where you actually have a possibility to obtain a sufficiently high number of points so that you're ultimately able to pass and maybe even get a good result. So this was kind of the moral of the story. Pace yourself, have some kind of a system when you take an exam, and you'll be fine. I wish you all the best, and see you around next time again. Bye bye.